It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
I seem a little bit like I am losing my mind over the fact that there are 96,000 people here tonight. It's because it's true. This is the biggest show that we have done on this tour or any tour.
The biggest news story across Australia in the last week, without question, has been nothing to do with Queensland Council elections or government policy or Anthony Albanese or Donald Trump has barely even made the news. You know what has been the number one news story for the last week? Everywhere you look, wall-to-wall coverage of...
It's been 8 long months since Taylor Swift revealed she was bringing her record-breaking tour here to Melbourne, sparking a frenzy that's engulfed the city all week.
Taylor Swift.
Cannot get enough of Taylor Swift.
You can't get enough of her?
No, I'm saying, well, the country can't get enough of Taylor Swift. I had enough of her several years ago.
I heard you say you can't get enough of Taylor Swift.
Let's just, JR, can we rewind that? Cannot get enough of Taylor Swift. Okay, that's what I said. So our kids, well, actually, they've been okay-ish, but I did check in with our daughter, Lily, 14 years old, and I said to her, hey, how are you feeling about not being at Taylor Swift because so many of your friends did get tickets? You know how she responded?
I'm going to guess you probably burst into tears.
Here's the audio.
I'm doing my twirling curly meal.
It looks like your eyes are leaking, kiddo.
There's still a chance I can get tickets.
There's still a chance.
Yeah.
So I think a bit of backstory is necessary here. Our daughters spent a full 4 days or more. Like as soon as Taylor Swift tickets came on sale back in June last year, they had my credit card. I reluctantly handed it over because I'm thinking I'm not just buying concert tickets, right? We live in Queensland. Where's she playing? Melbourne and Sydney. And I'm thinking...
Well, you're not just buying tickets for them. It means that you have to buy tickets for an adult who's going to supervise them on the travel.
That's right. Probably 2 adults. Like, I'm not going to let you go with the kids and not be part of it. I don't even like Taylor Swift, but I've got to be part of the whole... I mean, I don't dislike her either. I'm just not that into it. But if the family's doing it, And I'm thinking, okay, so that's 4 tickets. And I want decent tickets because when you get the seats that are right up the back, what's the point of even being there? I'm thinking thousands of dollars that we don't have on a concert that I'm not even enthusiastic about going to. But then we've got the airfares and you've got the hotel rooms and you've got the car rental or the Ubers, you've got the restaurants or the cafes or whatever you're going to eat. Like, this is an insanely expensive thing. So I very reluctantly handed the credit cards over.
I'm just going to throw you under the bus just a little bit here.
No, come on.
Paul McCartney came to Australia just a little while ago.
A living legend, a Beatle.
And
a Beatle.
And when you had a look at his travel schedule, we'd missed the concert in Brisbane.
Yep.
And the next concert that we could attend was it in Bali?
No, it was Mexico.
Mexico.
It was in Mexico.
You actually started thinking about how we might make that trip.
For 12 seconds. For 12, come on, let's be real.
We had a conversation about whether or not I would get on a plane with you to go to Mexico so that we could see Paul McCartney.
¿Habla español?
Let's just put this into perspective.
No entiendo español. I would not have had any chance at all. Now, so anyway, I gave them the credit card and I said yes, even though I didn't know how we were really going to be able to pay the credit card off and I wasn't enthusiastic. But my heart broke. I watched them press refresh and get onto iPads and laptops and every computer screen that we could possibly find so that they could try. And while they were trying to get on,
we were getting messages left, right and centre from family, friends, other people that we knew of, distance acquaintances who had got tickets.
Not only that, but some of them got in a second time and even a third time and got tickets for extras. Somebody did actually offer us some tickets that they got surplus because they got in a couple of times, but it wasn't enough tickets and it wasn't quite, it didn't work for us and we had to reluctantly and very sadly say no. But it just felt like it was so unjust. And I know I just made a big deal about Paul McCartney, living Beatles, seeing him in concert, very, very big deal. But I think Taylor Swift might be the biggest music artist ever to walk the planet. Like, surely she's got to be bigger than pretty much anybody over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. She's got to be up there with the greats. And I remember the thrill as a teenager of knowing that I'd scored tickets to go and see Guns N' Roses at Eastern Creek in the early 90s, or Lenny Kravitz at the Sydney Entertainment Centre, or Prince, same venue, or Henry Rollins at the Hordern. Most people might not know who Henry Rollins was, but I was stoked to get tickets to go and see Henry Rollins or whatever other superstar was coming to Australia. Being there as well, being there was unbelievable regardless of the quality of the seats. And so now Taylor Swift is here. We've got wall-to-wall coverage. And that means that right now actually sucks for millions of teens who are reliving the disappointment all over again. It's a really hard time for them. On Monday, I was asked to appear on the Today Show to talk about what we're supposed to do to help our kids if they're experiencing FOMO. They're seeing the Instagram reels, they're seeing the photos, they're seeing the social media uploads, they're hearing the news stories, and they're sitting in the living room going, I'm not there. I've missed this monumental, and it really is for them, this monumental event, and my heart breaks.
And yet I can just see so many parents around the country's eyes rolling, going, come on, really? It's just a concert.
Yeah. I think that we should share just briefly 5 ideas that can help if your kids are struggling right now with a little bit of Taylor Swift envy because maybe their friends got to go and they didn't, or maybe they're just watching what's happening but not actually being able to be a part of it. 5 ideas that can really help. Can I dive in? Here we go. The first idea is just have soft eyes. Have soft eyes. Don't roll your eyes. Don't have fast moving, rapidly eye-rolling eyes. Just have soft eyes. You can't have soft eyes and be unkind to somebody. Have you noticed that? Have you ever, like, as you listen to this conversation right now, try to make your eyes really hard, but think loving thoughts about somebody. Think kindness while you've got hard eyes. Like, you can't do it. It's impossible. Similarly, it's impossible to have really soft eyes and think horrible thoughts. You just can't do it. It doesn't work.
What I love about this concept, it's such an important concept in building a relationship of love and trust with our kids, with anyone in general. Because if my eyes are soft, it has the capacity to soften our children's hearts. Their hearts are softened towards us because they have a sense through our eyes, through soft eyes, that we actually understand what they're experiencing and that it's important to them.
There's that compassion. Com in passion. Com is a prefix for words like community and common, communicate, combine, compact, complement. In other words, all of these words are about bringing things together. And passion, historically, passion doesn't mean what everyone thinks it means, like Anthony Robbins getting excited about something. Passion means to suffer. So compassion literally means to suffer with. If your child's suffering right now, however much you think it's silly, just meet them where they are. Soft eyes means soft words, means soft touch, means soft hearts. You can't have soft eyes and be dispassionate or unkind. So soft eyes is my number 1 idea. My second idea, give them the fantasy. Give them the fantasy even though they can't have it in reality. So the way you do that...
It would be so awesome if we could go to Taylor Swift right now.
That's exactly how you do it.
What would we do when we get there? What would we wear? What song would you like her to sing first?
Yeah.
Just play with it.
Just play with it. Don't you wish you were there? Don't you just wish... It's offering empathy, but it's also emphasizing reality. It's validating and it's soft, but it's not patronizing. Third idea is listen. Just listen. For reasons that are so hard for us to understand as adults, your child is experiencing a form of mourning right now. And that fear of missing out, or the actual reality of missing out, genuinely creates its own kind of grief. Like, there's the social loss, but there's also the experiential loss. Just be there for them. Just listen. Number 4, don't minimize it. You said it before, Kylie. It's just a concert. You might think that reminding your kids that spending $2,500 to see a show that you need binoculars for and that you're not going to be able to hear the music properly anyway is going to make them feel better. But it won't. telling them that the music sounds better at home on the TV or on Spotify
Or on your U-Butte stereo system.
They don't look at it and go, oh, that's so true. Don't minimize it.
Maybe you have your own Taylor Swift concert in the lounge room.
Well, you know what? I reckon there's something to that. You can buy eras. I mean, she's already made literally a bajillion dollars off this thing, but you can buy it on your smart TV and just spend the money. Compared to what you would have spent, just spend the money and let them play that concert nonstop for the next week or so. It will be the closest thing that they can get to it, and it's showing that you're not minimizing it. It's showing that you're willing to meet them halfway. You're willing to make the effort. I just think there's something in that. And the last idea that I've got, I can't help it. I have to do it. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. What I mean by that is let them mourn and mourn with them, but then move on.
What I love about each of these steps, though, is what it actually does is it allows them to process their grief, their disappointment, their heartache around whatever it is. We're talking about Taylor Swift today, but this obviously works with any area where they feel a level of disappointment or grief around missing out on different things within their social groups. As we show them a level of compassion with our soft eyes, with our gentle touch and, kind of allowing them to share what they're feeling and we listen, it actually gives them the space needed to process it. When we are hard, when we come in with kind of just get over it, it's just a concept, when we have little compassion or understanding for what they're experiencing, what we actually do is keep them stuck in that space, in that emotion, and what could be over within a matter of days goes on for weeks.
Well, it could even be decades. I remember when you would not let me go to Taylor Swift, and they're like 40 years old and they're criticising you as a grandparent, and that's why they're going to send their kids to all the best concerts. Like, this can go for such a long, long time. Mourning means being allowed to be sad. Moving on means finding the people and the activities that are going to give you the strength and confidence to believe that life is still rich even when you don't get exactly what you want. In fact, can I get deeply philosophical for about 15 seconds? Not getting what you want is what makes life precisely that rich, because you can't appreciate how good the good really is unless you've experienced the bad. There has to be that opposition so that you can appreciate what you've got.
And I guess the last thing I would share is helping our kids to celebrate their friends' experiences.
Oh, yeah.
This is really hard, especially when you wanted to be a part of it. But there is so much power in being able to take perspective of somebody else's experience and in some ways share the joy of that experience vicariously. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be upset that you didn't get to go, but it does allow you to have a sense of joy in that experience for the people who did go, for your friends who have had that experience, and share the joy of that.
Yeah, for everyone who didn't get tickets, it could feel like a cruel summer.
Oh, you're good.
I worked that one in, didn't I?
The thing that I loved about Miss 14, Lily, was she was so devastated that she couldn't go. She had been making friendship bracelets for months in preparation.
I know.
And one of her friends was getting ready to fly out the next day. And she said to her, I've got a whole heap of friendship bracelets. Would you like to take them? Because I can't do anything with them now. I'm getting them. But Terry, I just loved that she was able to share the joy that she had in preparing something that she can't use and give it to somebody else who hadn't had the chance to do that. And she was so excited. This wasn't even a particularly close friend to her, but she recognized the joy that she would be able to experience through the exchange of these friendship bracelets.
And maybe they'll be closer friends as a result. Just a general reminder as well, for everyone whose kids were lucky enough to score tickets, help them to share their joy in sensitive and considerate ways. They should be allowed to celebrate, but it's always better when they can do it nicely. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. The Happy Families podcast is back tomorrow. We'll talk to you then.